Hello and welcome to the Rise and Ride Show, the space for horse riders who have lost their confidence but are ready to find the joy in riding again. If you've ever felt nervous in the saddle or doubted yourself, you're not alone. We've all been there, and this is your place to feel seen, supported and inspired to rise again. Each week we'll explore practical ways to rebuild your confidence, reconnect with your horse and fall back in love with riding. I'm Katie from Align and Advance, and let's get started. So this week we're going to talk about a bit of a biggie, and it is mentally recovering after a bad ride. Oh, have you ever had a ride that just didn't go to plan? And even though it's over, you just can't switch off, you just replay it. So you just, once you start replaying it in your head, you start doubting yourself, and suddenly the thought of getting back on feels completely different. If it's you, then I want to talk you through exactly how to recover from that, and also realise that it's not just you, it's all of us. Whenever we have a bad ride, we just completely spiral sometimes and make much more of it than it is really. So I just need to say that it's normal. Your brain is literally wired to remember anything that felt unsafe or unpredictable. That's not great for us horse riders, is it? Not great at all. Oh my God, my dog. She just wants to go in and out all the time at the moment because the weather's getting better. But I won't open the back door and leave it open because it's a bit chilly. So hold on, I'm letting her back in. And as I've said before, I've done this so many times on the podcast and YouTube video. I don't edit things. So it's just going to be a blank screen. Hold on one sec. Come on, pest. Good girl. You're cheeky. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Let's try and find my groove again. Right. So it's normal. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And your brain is wired to remember anything that felt unsafe. It's not you being dramatic or overreacting. It is your brain trying to protect you, but it doesn't always understand and it doesn't always get it right. So we kind of need to step in sometimes and go, actually, we're not doing this, brain. Thank you very much. We're gonna sort this out. We are safe, and we do want to ride our horses again, even though that ride was an absolute shambles. So what actually knocks your confidence isn't that moment that happened on the ride. It's what happens afterwards. It's like the replaying it over and over, and it's the what if it happens again. So many people get on their horses with only thinking about what they do not want to happen, not thinking about what they do want to happen. And it is the story that you start like building around it. And before you know it, like this little moment has just turned into something much, much bigger. And it's really, really difficult to stop that happening. So what most people do, and why it doesn't work, is a lot of riders do one of two things. They either force themselves just to get back on and push through, or they avoid it completely. And neither is right. And most people fall into one of two camps, basically. I used to be a get back on and push through kind of gal. Confidence doesn't come from pressure. It comes from feeling safe again. So if you're just pushing through, you can get there in the end, but it's usually a little bit of a stressful way of getting there. And sometimes you won't get there. So step one, calm your body first. So before you even try to figure it out, you need to bring your body back down from the adrenaline rush of this disaster that has happened. So it can be really simple. Slow your breathing down. So inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Let your shoulders drop. Really try, I hold tension a lot around like my jaw. Really try and release the tension in your jaw, because if your body still feels like it's under threat, your brain will keep treating it like it is, and it'll make the problem much, much bigger. So you need to try and reset your nervous system before you start to analyze this like thing that happened. Step 2, you need to separate the fact from the story. Now, this is huge, especially when you, like, if you're out on a hike, you get back to the yard and you start to tell people at the yard, like, what happened. Everyone can start, whoa, my gosh, oh, wow, I can't believe that happened to you. You're okay, blah, blah, blah. And they're all being super nice. But you need to really like break it down to what actually did happen. So if you think about the ride, what did actually factually happen? Not what it felt like, because when we're on horses, what it feels like is so much bigger than what actually happened. My boy, he likes a little bronc sometimes, and I have never managed to get him bronking on camera. And I really want to, because I bet his little legs, he's not very big, and I bet his little legs only come about this far off the ground, and it feels massive. It feels like I'm at the rodeo. But yeah, it feels absolutely huge. So we do really kind of need to think about what actually happened. Usually the facts are quite simple. So we layer meaning on top of what happened though, like I've lost control, I'm not confident anymore, I can't do this. And those thoughts feel real, but they're not always true. So we do need to like challenge those thoughts. So step 3, we need to go back to safety off of the horse, not on the horse. So before you even think about your next ride, you need to go back to being around your horse. This is kind of where like the Reiki element of my training comes in. And this is why when I went on my journey of like finding my confidence again, I trained in both things, in the Reiki. I did the Reiki first actually, and then the NLP, because like being around your horse in a really lovely state really just helps everything before you even like get back on. So it might be like a really slow, quiet groom where you're regulating your breathing, you're thinking really good thoughts, feel like as you're breathing, feel like the lovely energy building around your body, and think about transferring that to your horse. Think about your horse's energy. Do the grooming somewhere where he's really relaxed. Even if you're just grooming him while he's grazing, that's often a really nice thing too. So no rushing, no agenda, just really taking it back to basics. You could do some like gentle groundwork, and you can start sort of reminding your brain that this is okay, I am safe, this is familiar, this is okay, this is what I need to be doing. And then that is where your confidence actually sort of starts to rebuild brick by brick. So step 4, your first ride back, when you get back on, lower the bar. Really, really lower the bar. It doesn't need to be a perfect ride, and it doesn't need to be a particularly productive ride. It just needs to feel calm, and it needs to feel controlled, even if it's for like 10 minutes. But you need to be finishing thinking, do you know what, that was all right. That was pretty good. That's a win. Okay. So really, really lower the bar. I always say to people, like, when you've got a goal, break it down to the smallest, tiniest little bits it can be, and then consistency is what's going to get you to your goal, not great big leaping steps. Because if you needed to go somewhere and you had to go up steps, is it easier to go up loads and loads of tiny ones, or is it easier to go up one massive great big one? It's much easier to go up little teeny tiny ones, but you've got to be consistent and you've got to keep going. I mean, you can take a great big leap towards the massive step and see if you make it, but chances are you're going to fall face first into that massive step and fall off. So, you know, think about it, just like break things right down to getting back to feeling good. And while you're doing all those teeny tiny steps, you can do them feeling joy, because this is supposed to be fun. So one thing I often get my clients to use is something called an anchor, and it's basically a small repeatable action that helps your body recognize that it's safe. So it could be something like taking deep breaths before you mount. It could be saying a certain phrase to yourself. It doesn't matter what the phrase is, but it could just be saying, as long as it's the same phrase every time. Something as simple as how you hold the reins when you get on, a certain pair of gloves that you use, just the feeling of those gloves, tapping your hand, giving your horse a scratch on the withers. If it's something that also connects to your horse will also find that a comfort too. So there are more in-depth ways to use this, but like something simple can really help your brain associate what you're doing with feeling calm. And then there's like the emotional connection as well. And I think it's really important. It's when your confidence gets knocked, it's not just about the riding. It can really affect how you see yourself. And you go from feeling really capable to suddenly questioning everything. And that is why it's so big. And I've felt like this before. And it can make things feel so much worse than the actual original incident was. So confidence doesn't normally come back in like one big moment. You're not normally like knocked down and then just like, I'm back. It comes back in little small pieces, like I said about the steps. Calm grooms, nice interactions, quiet rides, small steps, and over time these start to outweigh that one experience. There are other ways that I teach to diminish the experience that you had, but that's like a little bit more complicated and like something that I teach people like on my courses and stuff. So if you've had a bad ride recently, like don't rush to fix it and don't force yourself through it. Just focus on creating a few calm, safe, positive moments again. And then that will help to start rebuild your confidence. So for both you and your horse, you both need to feel like you're in that safe space before you start to move forward again. And if it's something that you are going through, please just know you are not the only one. Definitely not the only one. It happens all the time. Okay, so don't feel deflated. Go through these steps and let me know if there is anything that you're worried about. If you've been through the steps and they helped, then let me know. If you've been through the steps and there's like something missing, then always get in contact with me. You're welcome to DM me on Instagram. I am align.and.advance. Or you can comment on here and I'll reply. And yeah, I'd always love to hear from you. Okay, take care. Enjoy your riding.